The sky was a tempest of swirling clouds, punctuated by the occasional flash of lightning that seemed to tear the heavens apart. Noah stood on the crowded tarmac of the once bustling international airport, now transformed into a chaotic evacuation center. The acrid stench of burning buildings mixed with the desperate cries of people clinging to their last hope of escape. Clutching his younger sister, Ellie, by the hand, Noah maneuvered through the throng, his heart pounding with both fear and determination. "Keep close to me, Ellie," he urged, his voice barely cutting through the cacophony of sirens and desperate shouts. Ellie's wide, fearful eyes met his, her small hand gripping tightly around a tattered stuffed rabbit, the last vestige of a world rapidly fading away. Above them, the massive Ark ships loomed like metallic titans, their hulls reflecting the flickering light of distant fires. Each ship, a self-sustaining city, was designed to house thousands of people for an indefinite journey across the stars. Noah and Ellie were among the fortunate few who had secured a place on the Celestial Hope, one of the largest and most advanced ships in the fleet. Next group, proceed to boarding. The voice over the loudspeakers was harsh, mechanical, driving the crowd forward like a relentless tide. Noah tightened his grip on Ellie's hand and pushed through the mass of bodies, their priority status as essential personnel, allowing them access to the front of the line. A soldier scanned their IDs at the base of the boarding ramp and waved them through. As they ascended into the belly of the Celestial Hope, Noah couldn't help but glance back at the sea of faces behind them. Some resigned to their fate, others still fighting desperately for a chance at survival. Inside the ship, the atmosphere was tense, a fragile calm masking the underlying panic. Families huddled together, children wept, and the elderly sat with vacant expressions. The ship's interior was a marvel of engineering, a stark contrast to the chaos outside: sleek corridors, efficient layouts, and an artificial sky that mimicked the Earth they were leaving behind. "Welcome aboard the Celestial Hope," an automated voice announced over the intercom. "Please proceed to your designated quarters and await further instructions." Noah led Ellie through the labyrinthine hallways to their assigned room. It was small but functional, with 2 bunks, a compact bathroom, and a viewport offering a final glimpse of the beleaguered planet below. He helped Ellie onto the lower bunk and tucked her stuffed rabbit beside her. "Will we ever see Mom and Dad again?" Ellie's voice was barely a whisper, heavy with the weight of uncertainty. Noah's heart ached as he knelt beside her, smoothing her hair back. "I don't know, Ellie, but we have to believe they're safe, just like we are now. We're going to a new home, a place where we can start over." He wished he could be as confident as he sounded. The truth was, no one knew what lay ahead in the vast expanse of space. The only certainty was that Earth, their home, was no longer habitable. The cause of the cataclysm remained a mystery. Some claimed it was natural disasters, while others whispered about a man-made catastrophe. Whatever the truth, the result was the same. Humanity was now a race of nomads, adrift among the stars. A soft chime signaled an incoming message on the room's communication panel. Noah pressed the accept button, and the image of Captain Reynolds, the Celestial Hope's commanding officer, appeared. "Good evening, passengers," the captain began, his voice steady and reassuring. "I know this is a difficult time for all of us. We have just completed final preparations for departure. Our journey to the Andromeda system will be long, but rest assured, you are in good hands. We have the best crew and the finest technology to ensure our survival and the continuation of our species. Together, we will build a new future among the stars. Please remain in your quarters until further notice. Thank you." The message ended, and the room fell silent. Noah sat on the edge of his bunk, staring out at the darkening sky. The ship's engines hummed to life, a deep, resonant vibration that signaled the beginning of their journey. "Look, Noah," Ellie pointed out the viewport. Outside, the other Ark ships were also preparing for departure, their engines glowing with an ethereal blue light. The sight was both awe-inspiring and terrifying, a fleet of humanity's last hope, ready to venture into the unknown. The ground beneath them shuddered as the Celestial Hope lifted off, rising steadily into the stormy sky. Noah held his breath, his mind racing with thoughts of the future. He knew that the journey ahead would be fraught with challenges, but he also knew that he had to stay strong for Ellie and for himself. As the ship broke through the clouds and into the stratosphere, the chaos of Earth began to fade away. The viewport filled with the serene darkness of space, dotted with distant stars. Noah felt a mix of sorrow and determination. Sorrow for the home they had lost, and determination to make the most of this second chance. The Celestial Hope and its sister ships accelerated, leaving the dying Earth behind. Noah took Ellie's hand and squeezed it gently. "We're going to be okay, Ellie," he said softly. "We'll find a new home, and we'll make it together." Ellie nodded, her eyes reflecting the light of the stars outside. "Together," she echoed. As the Ark fleet sailed into the vastness of space, humanity's journey as galactic nomads had truly begun. Noah awoke to the gentle hum of the Celestial Hope's life support systems, a sound that had quickly become a comforting constant. The artificial sunlight streamed through the viewport, casting a warm glow over their small quarters. Ellie was still asleep, her stuffed rabbit clutched tightly in her arms. Noah smiled, grateful for these small moments of peace amidst the uncertainty of their new reality. The ship's intercom crackled to life, interrupting his thoughts. "Good morning, passengers. Breakfast will be served in the communal dining area in 30 minutes. All crew members, please report to your designated stations. Have a productive day." Noah gently shook Ellie awake. "Hey, sleepyhead, time to get up. Let's get some breakfast." Ellie rubbed her eyes and sat up, blinking at the artificial sunlight. "I dreamt about Mom and Dad," she murmured. "Do you think they're dreaming about us too?" Noah's heart ached, but he forced a smile. "I'm sure they are, Ellie, and one day we'll be together again. But for now, let's go get some food. We've got a big day ahead." They navigated the bustling corridors of the Celestial Hope, passing other families and crew members on their way to the dining area. The ship was a marvel of engineering, designed to sustain life for decades, if necessary. Hydroponic gardens provided fresh produce, while advanced recycling systems ensured that nothing went to waste. The communal areas were filled with artificial greenery and sunlight, creating a semblance of Earth's natural environment. In the dining hall, Noah and Ellie found seats at one of the long tables. They joined a diverse group of passengers, each with their own story of loss and survival. Noah struck up a conversation with a woman named Maria, a former teacher, and her son, Alex, who was about Ellie's age. "Morning, Noah," Maria greeted with a warm smile. "How are you and Ellie holding up?" "We're managing," Noah replied. "It's a lot to take in, but we're grateful to be here." Maria nodded, her expression somber. "I think we all feel that way. It's hard to believe that just a few weeks ago, we were living normal lives on Earth." As they ate, the conversation shifted to the daily routines on the Ark. Maria explained how the ship's schedule was meticulously planned to keep everyone occupied and productive. There were classes for the children, work assignments for the adults, and recreational activities to maintain morale. Noah was assigned to the engineering team, given his background in mechanics and repairs. After breakfast, he escorted Ellie to her first day of classes, trying to reassure her with a smile. "You're going to make new friends and learn so many cool things," he said, kneeling down to her level. "I'll see you at lunch, okay?" Ellie nodded, her grip on his hand reluctant to let go. "Okay, Noah, I'll try." As he watched her disappear into the classroom, Noah felt a pang of guilt for leaving her, but he knew it was necessary. The future of humanity depended on each person doing their part. Noah reported to the engineering bay, where he was greeted by the head engineer, a stern but kind man named Isaac. "Welcome, Noah. We've got a lot of work to do to keep this ship running smoothly. Are you ready to dive in?" Noah nodded. "Absolutely. Just tell me where to start." Isaac handed him a datapad filled with schematics and maintenance schedules. "We'll start with routine checks on the environmental control systems. It's not glamorous, but it's crucial. If we lose air or temperature control, we're in big trouble." The hours flew by as Noah immersed himself in his work, finding comfort in the familiar tasks. He quickly bonded with his fellow engineers, who shared his determination to keep the Celestial Hope functioning at its best. The ship was their lifeline, and they took their responsibilities seriously. During a break, Noah chatted with a fellow engineer named Sam, who had a dry wit and a knack for making even the most mundane tasks interesting. "You know," Sam said, wiping sweat from his brow. Sometimes I think about what we left behind on Earth, all the stuff we took for granted. But then I remember why we're here. We're not just surviving, we're starting over. We get to build something new. Noah nodded, appreciating the perspective. Yeah, you're right. This is our chance to create a better future. When the day's work was done, Noah reunited with Ellie in the dining hall. She was animated, excitedly recounting her day and the new friends she had made. Noah listened, his heart swelling with pride and relief. They were adapting, finding their place in this new world. As they settled into their quarters for the night, Noah read a story to Ellie, her eyes growing heavy with sleep. "Good night, Ellie," he whispered, kissing her forehead. "Sweet dreams." In the quiet of their room, Noah stared out at the stars, feeling a mixture of hope and trepidation. The journey ahead was uncertain, but he was determined to make the most of it. For Ellie, for himself, and for the future of humanity, he vowed to do whatever it took to ensure their survival and build a new home among the stars. The Celestial Hope continued its voyage through the endless expanse of space, a beacon of humanity's resilience and determination. And as Noah drifted off to sleep, he held on to the promise of a new beginning, a future where they could thrive and rebuild together. The hum of the Celestial Hope's life support systems had become a familiar background noise, a constant reminder of the ship's delicate balance. Noah had settled into a routine, finding a strange comfort in the predictability of his days. But an undercurrent of unease lingered, a sense that not everything was as it seemed. One evening, after a long day of work, Noah was in the engineering bay finishing up some last-minute checks. The bay was mostly empty, save for a few night shift workers. He was about to head back to his quarters when he noticed something odd on one of the consoles, a series of encrypted messages flashing across the screen. Curiosity piqued, Noah glanced around to ensure he was alone, then sat down at the console. The messages were coded in a way that was unfamiliar, but he had always been good at puzzles. He began to decipher them, bit by bit, until the meaning started to take shape. What he found made his blood run cold. The messages hinted at a conspiracy, plans to sabotage the Ark fleet and destabilize the fragile alliance between the ships. The senders were discussing specific targets, dates, and times, all aimed at creating chaos and weakening the fleet's unity. Noah's heart pounded as he realized the gravity of what he had uncovered. Just as he was about to dig deeper, a voice behind him made him jump. "What are you doing, Noah?" He spun around to see Isaac, the head engineer, standing in the doorway, his face unreadable. "I found something strange on this console," Noah stammered, trying to keep his voice steady. "Encrypted messages. They look like plans for sabotage." Isaac's expression hardened. "Show me." Noah quickly pulled up the decrypted messages. Isaac leaned over his shoulder, scanning the screen. After a tense moment, he nodded. "This is serious. We need to report this to the captain immediately." They hurried to the bridge, where Captain Reynolds was reviewing reports from the day's operations. His brow furrowed as Noah and Isaac explained what they had found. "Sabotage? On our ship?" the captain said, his voice low and tense. "This could jeopardize the entire fleet." "We need to act quickly," Isaac said. "If these plans are carried out, it could mean disaster." Captain Reynolds nodded, his jaw set with determination. "Agreed. We'll need to investigate discreetly. If word of this gets out, it could cause panic. Noah, I want you and Isaac to form a small, trusted team to dig deeper into this. Find out who's behind it and stop them." Noah felt a mix of anxiety and resolve. "Yes, sir. We'll get to the bottom of this." Over the next few days, Noah and Isaac quietly assembled a team, including Sam and Maria, who had backgrounds in security and intelligence. They worked in secret, using their various skills to trace the origin of the messages and identify potential suspects. As they delved deeper, the scope of the conspiracy became clearer. The saboteurs were a small but well-organized group within the fleet, convinced that humanity needed to be tested through conflict and hardship. They believed that only the strongest would survive and lead the way to a new beginning. Their ideology was dangerous, and their plans, if executed, could lead to the collapse of the Ark fleet. One night, while Noah was reviewing more intercepted messages, Maria approached him with a grave look. "Noah, I've found something. The saboteurs are planning an attack on the hydroponic gardens. If they succeed, it would cripple our food supply." Noah's heart sank. When? 2 days from now, Maria replied. We need to act fast. Noah and his team sprang into action, devising a plan to thwart the attack. They coordinated with the ship's security forces, setting a trap for the saboteurs. The night of the planned attack, the hydroponic gardens were heavily guarded, and surveillance systems were in place to catch the perpetrators. As the appointed hour approached, Noah and his team watched anxiously from a hidden vantage point. Minutes ticked by, feeling like hours. Then, they saw movement, figures slipping through the shadows, approaching the gardens. Now, Noah whispered into his communicator. Security forces moved in swiftly, surrounding the saboteurs. A brief but intense skirmish ensued, ending with the saboteurs being apprehended. Noah felt a surge of relief as the threat was neutralized, but he knew this was just the beginning. Back on the bridge, Captain Reynolds praised their efforts but remained somber. You've done well, but this isn't over. We need to find out if there are more saboteurs and who their leaders are. We must ensure the safety of the fleet. Noah nodded, feeling the weight of the responsibility. We'll keep digging, Captain. We won't stop until we've uncovered the whole conspiracy. As he returned to his quarters that night, Noah felt a mix of exhaustion and determination. The journey ahead was fraught with danger, but he was resolved to protect Ellie and ensure that humanity's hope for a new beginning in the stars would not be extinguished by those who sought to tear it apart. The capture of the saboteurs at the hydroponic gardens was a victory, but it left Noah and his team with more questions than answers. The captured saboteurs were tight-lipped, refusing to divulge any information about their leaders or broader plans. The atmosphere on the Celestial Hope was tense, as rumors of the conspiracy began to spread, despite the crew's efforts to keep it quiet. Noah, Isaac, Sam, and Maria gathered in a small, secluded meeting room to discuss their next steps. The walls of the room felt like they were closing in, the weight of their mission pressing down on them. We need more information, Isaac said, pacing the length of the room. The saboteurs we've captured aren't talking. We need to find a way to infiltrate their network. Sam leaned back in his chair, his brow furrowed in thought. I might have a contact who can help. Finn. He's a hacker, a good one. If anyone can break into the saboteurs' communication network, it's him. Noah nodded. Let's reach out to him. We don't have any time to lose. Sam made contact with Finn, who agreed to meet them in one of the ship's less frequented maintenance areas. Noah, Sam, and Maria arrived first, the dimly lit corridors amplifying their anxiety. Finn appeared out of the shadows, a wiry young man with sharp eyes and a confident demeanor. Sam, Finn greeted, nodding at the group. So you need my help to crack a network? Yes, Sam replied. We need to find out who these saboteurs are communicating with and what their plans are. Can you do it? Finn smirked. Piece of cake. Lead the way. Back in their makeshift operations room, Finn set up his equipment and began working on hacking into the saboteurs' encrypted communications. The team watched in tense silence as lines of code and data flashed across the screen. After what felt like an eternity, Finn leaned back, a satisfied grin on his face. I'm in, he said, but it's not going to be easy. These guys are good. They've got layers of encryption and security protocols. It's going to take some time to get through everything. Do whatever it takes, Noah urged. We need to stop them before they strike again. Over the next few days, Finn worked tirelessly, slowly peeling back the layers of the saboteurs' network. The more he uncovered, the clearer the scope of the conspiracy became. The group was larger than they had initially thought, with members spread across several ARC ships. They communicated through a highly secure, decentralized network, making it difficult to pinpoint their leaders. One evening, as Finn made a breakthrough, the team gathered around the screen. I've found something, Finn said, his voice tinged with excitement. There's a high-level communication coming through. It looks like they're planning a meeting to discuss their next move. Where? Maria asked, leaning in closer. On the Celestial Hope, Finn replied, in one of the abandoned cargo bays. Isaac clenched his fists. This is our chance. We can catch their leaders and get the information we need. Noah felt a surge of determination. We need to be careful. If they suspect anything, they'll scatter. We need to plan this perfectly. The team devised a strategy to infiltrate the meeting and capture the saboteurs without alerting the rest of their network. They coordinated with Captain Reynolds, who provided additional security personnel to assist with the operation. The night of the meeting, Noah and his team moved stealthily through the ship, making their way to the cargo bay. The tension was palpable, each step echoing in the silence. They positioned themselves around the entrance, ready to strike. Noah peered through a small gap in the door, counting the figures inside. There were at least a dozen saboteurs, including some high-ranking members they hadn't identified before. He signaled to the team, and they moved in swiftly, bursting into the room with weapons drawn. "Don't move," Isaac commanded. "You're surrounded. Surrender now, and no one will get hurt." The saboteurs froze, their expressions ranging from shock to defiance. One of the leaders, a tall woman with piercing eyes, stepped forward. "You think you can stop us? We're just the beginning. Humanity needs to be tested. Only the strong will survive." "We'll see about that," Noah replied, his voice steady. "You're under arrest." The security team moved in, cuffing the saboteurs and securing the room. As they were led away, the tall woman turned to Noah. "You have no idea what's coming. This is far from over." Back in the operations room, the team began interrogating the captured leaders. The tall woman, who identified herself as Lara, was particularly defiant. But with persistence and strategic questioning, they managed to extract crucial information about the saboteurs' plans and their network. "We've got names, locations, and their next targets," Maria reported. "This is a huge breakthrough. We can start dismantling their operations and securing the fleet." Captain Reynolds commended their efforts, but remained cautious. "We've made significant progress, but we can't let our guard down. There may still be saboteurs out there. We need to remain vigilant and continue our investigation." As Noah returned to his quarters that night, he felt a mixture of exhaustion and relief. They had taken a significant step in protecting the fleet, but the battle was far from over. He checked on Ellie, who was fast asleep, and felt a renewed sense of purpose. He would do whatever it took to ensure her safety and the future of humanity among the stars. The Celestial Hope sailed onward through the vast expanse of space, its passengers unaware of the dangers that had been averted and the ones still lurking. And as Noah drifted off to sleep, he knew that the fight for their new home was just beginning. The capture of Lara and the other saboteur leaders had given the crew of the Celestial Hope a brief respite, but the danger was far from over. The information extracted from the prisoners had provided valuable insights into the saboteurs' plans and network, but it also revealed the extent of their reach. The saboteurs were more numerous and organized than Noah and his team had initially feared. Captain Reynolds called an emergency meeting with Noah, Isaac, Sam, Maria, and Finn to discuss their next steps. The tension in the room was palpable as they gathered around the conference table, the weight of their mission pressing down on them. "We've managed to prevent one attack, but there are more planned across the fleet," Captain Reynolds began, his expression grim. "We need to act quickly to dismantle the entire network. If we don't, the saboteurs will continue to threaten our survival." Finn nodded, his eyes fixed on the screen, displaying the data they had gathered. "We've identified several key members and their locations. We need to coordinate with the other ARC ships to ensure a synchronized strike." Isaac leaned forward, his face determined. "We need to be smart about this. If we make one wrong move, the saboteurs will scatter, and it will be even harder to stop them. We need to hit them hard and fast." The team spent hours devising a plan to take down the remaining saboteur cells. They coordinated with the security teams on the other ARC ships, setting up simultaneous operations to ensure that the saboteurs had no time to react. As the plans came together, a sense of urgency and determination filled the room. On the night of the coordinated strike, Noah's team was on high alert. They had divided into smaller groups to cover more ground and ensure that no saboteur escaped. Noah and Sam were tasked with securing a section of the engineering bay where several high-ranking saboteurs were believed to be hiding. The corridors were eerily quiet as they made their way to the target location, their footsteps echoing off the metallic walls. Noah's heart pounded in his chest, adrenaline coursing through his veins. He glanced at Sam, who gave him a reassuring nod. As they approached the engineering bay, they heard voices coming from within. Noah signaled for silence and carefully peered through a small gap in the door. Inside, he saw a group of saboteurs gathered around a table, discussing their next move. One of them was holding a data pad with detailed schematics of the ship's systems. Noah took a deep breath and whispered into his communicator. "We're in position, ready to breach on your command." Captain Reynolds' voice crackled through the earpiece. "Copy that. All teams, prepare to breach in 3, 2, 1, go." Noah and Sam burst into the room, weapons drawn. "Freeze! Hands where we can see them." The saboteurs reacted with shock and anger, but they were outnumbered and outgunned. The security team quickly moved in, securing the area and apprehending the suspects. Noah's eyes scanned the room, ensuring that there were no hidden threats. "Good work, everyone," Noah said, his voice steady despite the rush of adrenaline. "Let's get these people to the holding cells and secure the data." As they escorted the captured saboteurs through the corridors, Noah couldn't shake the feeling that they were missing something. The operation had gone too smoothly, and he couldn't help but wonder if the saboteurs had anticipated their move. Back in the operations room, Finn was analyzing the data they had retrieved from the saboteurs' data pads. His brow furrowed as he sifted through the information, a sense of unease growing. "There's something off about this," Finn muttered, his fingers flying across the keyboard. "The data we've got doesn't match up with what we intercepted earlier. It's almost like they wanted us to find this." Maria frowned. "You think this is a trap? That they let us capture them on purpose?" Finn nodded slowly. "It's possible. We need to dig deeper and find out what their real plan is." Noah's mind raced as he processed the implications. If the saboteurs had allowed themselves to be captured, it meant they had a larger scheme in play, one that they hadn't yet uncovered. He felt a knot of dread in his stomach. "We need to interrogate the prisoners again," Noah said. "They know more than they're letting on. We have to find out what their true objective is before it's too late." As the team regrouped, they intensified their efforts to break the saboteurs' silence. The interrogations were grueling, each session revealing only fragments of the larger picture. It was Lara who finally cracked, her defiance giving way to frustration. "You think you've won?" she spat, her eyes blazing with fury. "You have no idea what's coming. The real plan is already in motion, and there's nothing you can do to stop it." Noah leaned in, his voice calm but firm. "Tell us what the plan is, Lara. Lives are at stake. We can stop this if you help us." Lara's lips curled into a sinister smile. "You really want to know? Fine. The final phase is set to begin in 2 days. It's not just about sabotage, it's about taking control. We're going to seize the command centers of the Ark ships and use them to enforce a new order. A stronger humanity will rise from the ashes." Noah's blood ran cold as the full scope of the saboteurs' plan became clear. They weren't just trying to create chaos. They intended to overthrow the existing leadership and establish their own rule. The countdown to the final phase had already begun. He turned to his team, his voice resolute. "We have 2 days to stop them. We need to alert the other ships and prepare for a coordinated defense. This isn't just about survival anymore. It's about protecting the future of humanity." As the Celestial Hope sailed through the vastness of space, the battle for control and survival reached a critical juncture. Noah and his allies faced their greatest challenge yet, determined to thwart the saboteurs' plans and secure a future among the stars. The fate of the Ark fleet and the remnants of humanity hung in the balance. The revelation of the saboteurs' ultimate plan sent shockwaves through the Celestial Hope. As the clock ticked down to the final phase, Noah and his team worked tirelessly to prepare for the impending conflict. The stakes had never been higher, and the tension among the crew was palpable. Captain Reynolds called an emergency meeting with the leaders of the other Ark ships. The holographic conference room was filled with the projected images of the captains and senior officers from each ship, their faces etched with concern. "Thank you all for joining on such short notice," Captain Reynolds began. "We have uncovered a plot to seize control of the Ark ships and establish a new order. The saboteurs' plan will reach its climax in less than 48 hours. We must coordinate our efforts to prevent this takeover and protect our people." Captain Hayes of the Stellar Dawn nodded gravely. We've been dealing with similar issues on our ship. It seems this conspiracy runs deep. We need a unified strategy to root out the saboteurs and secure our command centers. Noah listened intently as the captains discussed their plans. Each ship had its unique challenges, but they all shared a common goal: to preserve the Alliance and prevent the saboteurs from achieving their objectives. As the meeting progressed, a plan began to take shape. Isaac, the head engineer, outlined the technical aspects of the plan. We need to reinforce our security protocols and ensure that our command centers are impenetrable. I've already begun implementing additional safeguards, but we'll need everyone to do the same on their ships. Maria added, we also need to identify any remaining saboteurs among the crew. Our intelligence suggests that there are still operatives embedded within our ranks. We can't afford to let them sabotage our efforts from within. As the meeting concluded, Captain Reynolds addressed the group one last time. We have less than 2 days to prepare. Stay vigilant and keep your crews informed and ready. We will get through this together. Noah felt a renewed sense of determination as he and his team returned to their duties. The Alliance was fragile, but it was their best hope for overcoming the threat they faced. They worked around the clock, coordinating with security teams, enhancing defenses, and briefing key personnel on the situation. In the midst of the preparations, Noah took a moment to check on Ellie. He found her in the communal area, playing with Alex, Maria's son. Their laughter was a stark contrast to the tension that gripped the ship, a reminder of what they were fighting for. "How are you holding up, Ellie?" Noah asked, crouching down beside her. Ellie looked up, her eyes filled with a mix of worry and hope. "I'm scared, Noah, but I know you're going to keep us safe." Noah hugged her tightly, his heart aching with the weight of responsibility. "I promise, Ellie. We'll get through this. We'll find our new home, and we'll be together." As the final hours approached, the crew of the Celestial Hope braced themselves for the impending conflict. Noah and his team were stationed in the command center, monitoring the ship's systems and communications. Finn worked furiously at his console, tracking any signs of sabotage or infiltration. "All systems are secure," Finn reported, "but we need to stay on high alert. The saboteurs could strike at any moment." Noah nodded, his eyes scanning the displays. "Keep an eye on the communication channels. If they try to coordinate an attack, we'll intercept it." The minutes ticked by, each one a test of their resolve. The tension in the command center was almost palpable, every sound and movement magnified by the silence. Then, a sudden alert flashed on Finn's screen. "I've got something," Finn said, his fingers flying across the keyboard. "Encrypted communications between the saboteurs. They're planning to breach the command center in T-minus 15 minutes. Captain Reynolds' voice was calm but firm. "Prepare to defend the command center. Security teams, take your positions." Noah and his team sprang into action, securing the entrances and fortifying their defenses. The ship's corridors were filled with the sound of footsteps and hushed commands as the crew prepared for the imminent confrontation. The first wave of saboteurs hit with brutal force. They were well coordinated, attacking from multiple directions in an attempt to overwhelm the defenders. Noah and his team held their ground, repelling the attackers with a combination of firepower and tactical precision. Amidst the chaos, Noah caught sight of Lara, the saboteur leader, directing her operatives with ruthless efficiency. He knew that taking her down would be key to breaking their resolve. "Cover me," Noah shouted to Sam and Maria. "I'm going after Lara." With their support, Noah pushed through the melee, his eyes locked on Lara. She saw him coming and smirked, drawing a blade from her belt. They clashed in a furious exchange, each move calculated and deadly. "You can't stop us, Noah," Lara taunted. "Humanity needs to be tested. Only the strong will survive." Noah's eyes blazed with determination. Humanity needs hope, not tyranny. With a swift, decisive strike, Noah disarmed Lara and subdued her. The remaining saboteurs, seeing their leader captured, began to falter. The security teams quickly rounded them up, restoring order to the command center. As the dust settled, Captain Reynolds addressed the crew. "We've thwarted the saboteurs' plan, but we must remain vigilant. The fight for our future is far from over. But tonight, we celebrate a victory. We stand united, stronger than ever." Noah looked around at his friends and allies, feeling a surge of pride and relief. They had faced a formidable threat and emerged victorious. But he knew that the journey was far from over. They still had a long road ahead, filled with challenges and uncertainties. As he returned to his quarters, Noah found Ellie waiting for him, her eyes shining with relief. He hugged her tightly, grateful for her unwavering faith. "We did it, Ellie," he whispered. "We're going to be okay." The Celestial Hope continued its journey through the stars, its passengers united in their determination to find a new home. And as Noah drifted off to sleep that night, he knew that they had taken a crucial step towards securing their future, together. The victory against the saboteurs provided a much-needed sense of relief and unity among the crew of the Celestial Hope, but Noah knew that the fight was far from over. The conspirators they had captured were only part of a larger network, and the underlying causes of the disaster that had forced humanity into space still remained a mystery. As the days passed, Noah continued to work closely with Captain Reynolds, Isaac, Maria, Sam, and Finn to uncover any remaining saboteur cells and fortify their defenses. One evening, while reviewing the decrypted data from the captured saboteurs, Noah stumbled upon something unusual. "Finn, take a look at this," Noah called out, his eyes scanning the lines of code on the screen. "There's a reference here to something called Project Genesis." Finn leaned over, examining the data. "I've seen that name pop up a few times, but I haven't been able to find much about it. It's heavily encrypted. Whatever it is, it's important." "We need to dig deeper," Noah said, determination setting in. "If Project Genesis is connected to the saboteurs, it might help us understand their endgame." The team worked tirelessly, pooling their expertise to break through the encryption. After several long hours, they finally made a breakthrough. The data revealed that Project Genesis was a secret initiative launched decades before the cataclysm that had destroyed Earth. Its purpose, to ensure humanity's survival in the event of a global disaster. Noah and his team pored over the files, discovering that Project Genesis had involved some of the brightest minds on Earth who had foreseen the potential for catastrophe and had prepared contingency plans. These plans included the construction of the Ark ships, the selection of key personnel, and the development of advanced technologies to sustain life in space. But as they delved deeper, they uncovered something far more sinister. It appeared that a faction within Project Genesis had believed that only through orchestrated conflict and controlled evolution could humanity truly survive and thrive. This faction had manipulated events, ultimately contributing to the very disaster they had ostensibly sought to prevent. Noah's mind reeled as the pieces fell into place. The saboteurs were not just a rogue group, they were the remnants of this faction, determined to continue their vision of enforced evolution. "We need to inform Captain Reynolds immediately," Noah said, his voice filled with urgency. "This changes everything." In the command center, the team presented their findings to the captain. His expression grew increasingly grim as he listened. "So, the very people who were supposed to save humanity may have had a hand in its destruction," Captain Reynolds said, shaking his head. "This information is vital. We need to share this with the other Ark ships and make sure everyone is aware of the true nature of the threat we're facing." The team worked swiftly to disseminate the information, organizing a conference with the leaders of the other Ark ships. The holographic conference room buzzed with tension as the captains absorbed the shocking revelations. Captain Hayes of the Stellar Dawn was the first to speak. "This is beyond comprehension. To think that our own people could have been responsible for such devastation. We need to root out anyone still loyal to this faction and ensure they can't do any more harm." Captain Reynolds nodded. "Agreed. We must remain vigilant and work together to protect our fleets. We also need to ensure that the truth is known so we can prevent this from ever happening again." The alliance between the Ark ships strengthened in the wake of this new information. Security protocols were heightened, and crews were thoroughly vetted to identify any remaining saboteurs. Meanwhile, Noah and his team continued to investigate Project Genesis, determined to uncover every last detail. One night, as Noah and Finn sifted through yet another batch of decrypted files, they discovered a set of coordinates. They indicated a location in deep space, far from the current trajectory of the Ark fleet. "This must be important," Finn said. leaning back in his chair. Why else would they hide it so well? Noah nodded. We need to check it out. This could be a key piece of the puzzle. They presented their findings to Captain Reynolds, who agreed that an exploratory mission was necessary. A small team was assembled, including Noah, Isaac, Maria, Sam, and Finn. They prepared a shuttle for the journey, equipped with the latest scanning and navigation technology. As they set off towards the mysterious coordinates, the crew of the Celestial Hope watched anxiously. The shuttle glided through the darkness of space, the stars stretching out endlessly around them. The journey was tense, filled with anticipation and speculation about what the zone might find. After several hours, they arrived at the coordinates. What they discovered was astonishing, a massive space station, hidden in the depths of space. The station appeared to be operational, its lights and systems active despite its isolation. Project Genesis had more secrets than we thought, Isaac murmured, eyes wide as they approached the station. This place could hold the answers we've been looking for. They docked the shuttle and cautiously entered the station. Inside, they found advanced technology and extensive data archives. As they explored, they discovered that the station had been a central hub for Project Genesis, where the faction had conducted their most secretive and controversial experiments. Noah and Finn accessed the station's mainframe, uncovering a trove of information. They found detailed plans for the Ark ships, records of genetic experiments, and logs of communications between the faction members. But the most chilling discovery was a series of messages indicating that the faction's influence extended far beyond Earth. This isn't just about Earth, Finn said, his voice hushed. They were planning for a future where humanity would be spread across the galaxy, all under their control. Noah felt a cold dread settle over him. We need to get this information back to the fleet. Everyone needs to know the full extent of what we're up against. As they gathered the data, alarms suddenly blared throughout the station. The screens flashed with warnings of an impending security lockdown. We've been detected, Sam said, his voice tense. We need to get out of here now. The team raced back to the shuttle, the station's systems beginning to shut down around them. They barely made it aboard before the docking bay doors closed. As they sped away from the station, they saw automated defense systems activating, targeting their shuttle. Hang on, Isaac shouted, piloting the shuttle through a barrage of laser fire. The ship shook violently, but Isaac's expert maneuvers kept them one step ahead of the defenses. Finally, they cleared the station's range and set a course back to the Celestial Hope. The team breathed a collective sigh of relief, though the weight of their discoveries pressed heavily on them. Back on the Celestial Hope, they were greeted as heroes. Captain Reynolds immediately convened a meeting to review the data and plan their next steps. The information you've brought back is invaluable, Captain Reynolds said. We now have a clearer picture of the threat we face, but we also have the knowledge we need to fight back. Noah felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had uncovered the hidden truth behind the saboteurs and their twisted vision for humanity. Now, it was up to them to ensure that this vision never came to pass. As the Celestial Hope and its sister ships continued their journey through the stars, the crew prepared for the challenges ahead. They knew that the fight for their future was far from over, but they were united in their determination to build a new home among the stars, one founded on hope, resilience, and the true spirit of humanity. The revelations from the hidden space station had given Noah and his team a renewed sense of urgency. The stakes were higher than ever, and they knew that the saboteurs' ultimate goal extended far beyond the Ark fleet. As the Celestial Hope continued its journey, the crew prepared for the inevitable confrontation that lay ahead. Captain Reynolds convened a meeting with the key members of the Alliance. The holographic conference room was filled with the familiar faces of the other ship captains and senior officers. We have a clear picture of what we're up against, Captain Reynolds began, addressing the group. The saboteurs' plan is more extensive than we thought. They aim to take control of the entire fleet and eventually all of humanity spread across the stars. We cannot let this happen. Captain Hayes of the Stellar Dawn spoke up. We need to strike decisively. If we can take out their leadership and dismantle their network, we can stop them for good. Noah, standing beside Captain Reynolds, nodded in agreement. Our intel from the space station indicates that the saboteurs are planning a coordinated attack on the command centers of each ARC ship. We need to be prepared to defend our ships and take the fight to them. Isaac, the head engineer, stepped forward with a strategic plan. We'll need to reinforce our defenses and set up a communication network to coordinate our actions. Each ship will designate a response team to counter any infiltration attempts. We'll use the element of surprise to our advantage. The captains and officers discussed the details, agreeing on a unified strategy. As the meeting concluded, there was a palpable sense of determination. They knew the battle ahead would be fierce, but they were ready to defend their future. Back on the Celestial Hope, Noah and his team worked tirelessly to implement the defense plan. They reinforced the command center, set up surveillance systems, and coordinated with security teams across the ship. Finn, the hacker, ensured that their communication network was secure and impenetrable. The final hours before the anticipated attack were tense. The crew members were on high alert, their eyes scanning for any signs of the enemy. In the command center, Noah and his team monitored the ship's systems, ready to respond at a moment's notice. As the countdown reached 0, the first wave of saboteurs struck. They targeted the command centers, attempting to breach the security defenses and seize control. But the crew was prepared. Security teams, led by Sam and Maria, intercepted the attackers, engaging them in intense firefights. "Hold the line," Sam shouted, his voice cutting through the chaos. "We can't let them reach the command center." Noah coordinated the defense from the command center, directing teams to hotspots and ensuring that reinforcements were sent where needed. The battle was brutal, with both sides taking heavy losses. But the crew's determination and unity proved to be their greatest strengths. In the midst of the fighting, Finn detected a high-priority communication from the saboteurs. "Noah, I've intercepted a message. They're regrouping for a final push. We need to stop them now, or they'll overrun us." Noah's mind raced as he devised a plan. "We need to cut off their command structure. If we can take out their leaders, the rest will fall apart. Finn, can you pinpoint their location?" Finn nodded, his fingers flying over the keyboard. "Got it. They're in a concealed section near the engineering bay." Noah assembled a strike team, including Isaac, Sam, Maria, and a squad of the ship's best fighters. They moved swiftly through the corridors, the sound of their footsteps echoing in the tense silence. As they approached the saboteurs' stronghold, the team split into smaller groups to surround the area. Noah led the charge, his heart pounding with adrenaline. They breached the entrance, bursting into the room with weapons drawn. The saboteur leaders were caught off guard, their expressions shifting from confidence to shock. Lara, the captured leader who had managed to escape, stood at the center of the group, her eyes blazing with defiance. "You think you can stop us?" Lara snarled, drawing her weapon. "We're the future of humanity." Noah's voice was steady and resolute. "Humanity's future is one of unity and hope, not tyranny and destruction." The room erupted in chaos as the two sides clashed. Noah and Lara faced off in a fierce battle, each move calculated and deadly. Around them, the strike team engaged the saboteurs, fighting with everything they had. As the battle raged on, Noah managed to disarm Lara and pin her to the ground. "It's over, Lara. Your plan has failed." Lara shrugged, gled, her eyes filled with hatred. "This isn't the end. Others will rise to take our place." Noah shook his head. "We'll be ready for them. Humanity will not be divided." With Lara and the remaining leaders captured, the saboteurs' resistance crumbled. The security teams quickly subdued the rest of the operatives, securing the ship. The battle had been hard fought, but the crew of the Celestial Hope had emerged victorious. Back in the command center, Captain Reynolds addressed the crew over the ship's intercom. "Today we have defended our ship and our future. We have shown that unity and hope will always prevail over fear and tyranny. We will continue our journey, stronger and more determined than ever." Noah stood with his team, feeling a profound sense of relief and pride. They had faced a formidable enemy and protected their home. As he looked around at his friends and allies, he knew that they had forged a bond that would carry them through any challenges that lay ahead. The Celestial Hope and its sister ships continued their journey through the stars, their course set towards a new beginning. The crew remained vigilant, aware that the fight for their future was ongoing. But they faced it with a renewed sense of purpose and unity, ready to build a new home among the stars. As Noah returned to his quarters, he found Ellie waiting for him, her eyes filled with relief and joy. He hugged her tightly, feeling the weight of the day's events lift. "We did it, Ellie," he whispered. "We're safe." Ellie smiled, her faith in her brother unwavering. "I knew you would. We're going to find our new home, aren't we?" Noah nodded, his heart filled with hope. "Yes, Ellie, we will, together." The celestial hope sailed onward through the vast expanse of space, a beacon of resilience and determination. And as Noah drifted off to sleep that night, he knew that they had taken a crucial step towards securing their future, together. The victory against the saboteurs had fortified the alliance between the Ark ships, but the journey ahead was still fraught with challenges. The Celestial Hope continued its voyage through the stars, its crew focused on the mission of finding a new home for humanity. The ship's corridors buzzed with activity, a renewed sense of purpose driving everyone forward. In the weeks following the battle, Noah and his team worked tirelessly to strengthen the fleet's defenses and ensure that the remaining saboteurs were rooted out. Their efforts were relentless, but they knew that vigilance was the price of survival. One evening, as Noah was reviewing the latest security reports in the command center, Captain Reynolds called for an urgent meeting. The key members of the crew, including Noah, Isaac, Maria, Sam, and Finn, gathered around the conference table, their faces reflecting the weight of the unknown. "We've received a distress signal from one of the scouting parties sent ahead to survey potential habitable planets," Captain Reynolds began, his voice grave. "Their ship, the Explorer, encountered a hostile force and is under attack. They're requesting immediate assistance." A sense of dread settled over the room. The scouting parties were essential to their mission, and any threat to them was a threat to the entire fleet. "We need to respond quickly," Isaac said, his eyes narrowed with determination. "If the hostile force is targeting our scouts, they could come after the fleet next." Noah nodded. "We need a plan to rescue the Explorer and neutralize the threat. We can't afford to lose any more of our people." Captain Reynolds turned to Noah. "I want you to lead the rescue mission. Take a team and get to the Explorer as fast as possible. We'll coordinate from here and provide support." Noah's heart pounded with both fear and resolve. "Understood, Captain. We'll bring them back." As Noah prepared for the mission, he selected a team of the best fighters and engineers, including Sam and Maria. Finn provided crucial intelligence on the hostile force's capabilities, ensuring they were as prepared as possible. The rescue shuttle, armed and ready, launched into the vast expanse of space, its crew focused and determined. As they approached the coordinates of the distress signal, they saw the Explorer under heavy fire from an unknown enemy. The attackers were a group of rogue scavengers, equipped with advanced weaponry and driven by greed. "We need to draw their fire away from the Explorer," Noah said, gripping the controls. "Sam, take the gunners and target their main ship. Maria, coordinate with the Explorer's crew and prepare for evacuation if necessary." The shuttle engaged the enemy, its weapons blazing. The scavengers were relentless, but Noah's team fought with unmatched resolve. The shuttle took heavy damage, but they managed to create an opening for the Explorer to escape. "Captain, the Explorer is clear," Maria reported, her voice strained with effort. "But we're taking too much fire. We won't last much longer." Noah made a quick decision. "We need to draw them away completely. We'll lead them on a chase and give the Explorer time to get back to the fleet." As the shuttle sped away, the scavengers followed, their ships closing in. The crew fought valiantly, but it was clear that their chances of survival were slim. "Finn, do you have any tricks up your sleeve?" Sam asked, his voice tense. "I'm working on it," Finn replied, his fingers flying over the controls. "But we need more time." Time they didn't have. The shuttle shuddered as it took another hit, alarms blaring. "Noah," Maria said, her voice filled with determination, "you need to go. Get back to the fleet. I'll stay behind and buy you the time you need." Noah's heart clenched. "Maria, no, we can't leave you." "You have to," Maria insisted. "It's the only way. I'll hold them off. Go now." Noah hesitated, torn between duty and loyalty. But he knew Maria was right. "Stay safe, Maria. We'll come back for you." With a heavy heart, Noah gave the order, and the shuttle broke away, leaving Maria behind to face the scavengers. Her sacrifice weighed heavily on them all, a stark reminder of the cost of their mission. Back on the Celestial Hope, the crew awaited the shuttle's return with bated breath. When Noah and his team finally arrived, Captain Reynolds was there to greet them, his expression a mix of relief and sorrow. "We received the explorer's signal," Captain Reynolds said. "They're safe, thanks to you. But Maria," Noah's voice was choked with emotion, "she stayed behind to buy us time. We need to go back for her." Captain Reynolds placed a reassuring hand on Noah's shoulder. "We'll do everything we can, but for now we need to focus on the fleet's safety." As the days passed, the fleet mourned Maria's loss but drew strength from her sacrifice. Noah felt the weight of her absence keenly, a constant reminder of the dangers they faced and the bravery required to overcome them. The crew's resolve hardened. They worked tirelessly to prepare for any future threats, their unity stronger than ever. Finn continued to analyze the data from the space station, uncovering more about Project Genesis and the saboteurs' plans. The information they gathered proved invaluable, helping to fortify their defenses and prepare for the journey ahead. One evening, as Noah stood by the viewport, gazing at the endless expanse of stars, Ellie approached him, her eyes filled with a wisdom beyond her years. "Do you miss her?" Ellie asked softly. Noah nodded, his voice barely a whisper. "Every day. But we have to keep going, for her and for everyone we've lost." Ellie hugged him tightly, her presence a source of comfort and strength. "We'll find our new home, Noah. I believe in you." Noah's heart swelled with determination. "Thank you, Ellie. We'll get there, together." As the Celestial Hope continued its voyage, the crew remained vigilant and united, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. They knew that the path to their new home would be fraught with danger, but they were prepared to sacrifice and fight for their future. In the vast expanse of space, the Ark fleet sailed onward, a symbol of humanity's resilience and hope. And as Noah gazed at the stars, he knew that they would find their way, guided by the memories of those they had lost and the promise of a new beginning. The weeks following the rescue mission and Maria's sacrifice were filled with a determined sense of purpose. The crew of the Celestial Hope and the other Ark ships had never been more unified. They had faced immense challenges, but their resolve had only grown stronger. Noah, now more than ever, was determined to ensure that Maria's sacrifice would not be in vain. He threw himself into his work, collaborating with Finn, Isaac, Sam, and Captain Reynolds to bolster the fleet's defenses and solidify their plans for the future. One day, as Noah was reviewing the latest data from their long-range scanners, Finn burst into the command center, excitement written all over his face. "Noah, you need to see this." Noah followed Finn to the main console, where an image of a distant star system filled the screen. "What am I looking at, Finn?" "This system," Finn said, pointing to the data. "The long-range scans show multiple planets within the habitable zone, and more importantly, there are signs of water and an atmosphere similar to Earth's. This could be it, Noah. This could be our new home." Noah felt a surge of hope. "Have you informed Captain Reynolds?" "He's on his way," Finn replied, just as the captain entered the room. Captain Reynolds looked at the screen, his eyes narrowing as he analyzed the data. "This looks promising. Very promising. We need to proceed with caution, but if these readings are accurate, we might have found what we've been searching for." The captain called an emergency meeting with the leaders of the other Ark ships. The conference room buzzed with anticipation as the captains and senior officers reviewed the findings. "This could be the breakthrough we've been waiting for," Captain Hayes of the Stellar Dawn said. "But we need to approach carefully. We can't risk losing everything we've worked for." Captain Reynolds nodded in agreement. "We'll send a small exploratory team to conduct a thorough survey. If the conditions are suitable, we'll begin preparations for colonization." Noah was chosen to lead the exploratory team, along with Isaac, Sam, and Finn. They boarded a scout ship equipped with advanced sensors and life support systems, their hearts filled with a mix of hope and trepidation. As they approached the new star system, the sight of the planets orbiting the distant sun was breathtaking. One planet, in particular, stood out, lush green and covered in vast oceans. They named it New Eden. The scout ship entered the planet's atmosphere, its sensors working overtime to analyze the environment. As they landed on a grassy plain, the team donned their suits and stepped out, taking their first steps on the surface of New Eden. The air was fresh, the sky a brilliant blue. They conducted extensive tests, confirming that the atmosphere was indeed breathable and the water safe to drink. The planet was teeming with life, plants, animals, and ecosystems that mirrored those of Earth. "This is it," Isaac said, his filled with awe. "This is our new home." They spent several days exploring and documenting their findings before returning to the Celestial Hope with the good news. The announcement of their discovery sent a wave of joy and relief through the fleet. After years of hardship and uncertainty, they had finally found a place to call home. Preparations for colonization began immediately. The Ark ships coordinated their efforts, carefully planning the establishment of the first human settlement on New Eden. The excitement was palpable as the crew worked tirelessly, their dream of a new beginning within reach. As the fleet descended to New Eden, Noah stood on the bridge of the Celestial Hope, watching the planet grow larger in the viewport. Ellie stood beside him, her eyes wide with wonder. "Is this really our new home, Noah?" she asked, her voice filled with hope. Noah smiled, his heart swelling with pride. "Yes, Ellie, this is our new home." The Ark ships landed gracefully on the plains of New Eden, their passengers disembarking to set foot on solid ground for the first time in years. Tears of joy and relief flowed freely as families reunited and friends embraced. The first settlers began constructing homes and infrastructure, working together to build a thriving community. Captain Reynolds addressed the gathered settlers, his voice resonating with emotion. "Today marks the beginning of a new chapter for humanity. We have faced unimaginable challenges and made incredible sacrifices, but we have persevered. New Eden is a testament to our resilience, our unity, and our unwavering hope for the future. Together, we will build a new world, a world where our children can grow and thrive. Welcome home." As the sun set over New Eden, casting a golden glow across the landscape, Noah looked around at the bustling settlement. He saw Ellie playing with Alex, their laughter a symbol of the new life they were creating. He saw Isaac, Sam, and Finn working alongside other settlers, their faces filled with determination and joy. Noah felt a deep sense of fulfillment. They had overcome adversity, faced their fears, and forged a path to a new future. They had found their new home, not just in a physical sense, but in the bonds they had formed and the community they had built. As he stood there, watching the stars begin to twinkle in the night sky, Noah knew that their journey was far from over. There would be new challenges and new adventures, but they would face them together, as one united people. The Celestial Hope and its sister ships had fulfilled their mission, carrying the remnants of humanity to a new beginning. And as the settlers of New Eden looked to the stars, they carried with them the legacy of resilience, courage, and hope that had brought them to this moment. Noah took a deep breath, feeling the cool breeze of New Eden on his face. "We did it, Maria," he whispered, a tear sliding down his cheek. "We made it." And with that, the settlers of New Eden began their new life, forging a future filled with endless possibilities and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. The dawn of a new era had begun, and humanity's journey among the stars continued, driven by the spirit of exploration and the unyielding hope for a better future.